Hi, Star. My name is Bob. I was going to help you with this problem. This is a natty little sucker, but I think I can help you figure it out. So we have one number which is 6 more than 2 times another number, okay? And that is represented by this equation here. Here's the one number. Let's call it x. We're in algebra, so we have to call something x, right? And it's going to be equal to 6 more plus 2 times another number, and that other number will be y, because again, this is algebra and we do x and y. Okay, so that's equation 1. Equation 2, we have their product, which would be x times y, is equal to 6 more plus then 2 times their sum, x plus y. So those are the two equations we have to deal with. Fortunately, and what we want to do is we want to get one equation. So since we have these two equations, we hope there will be at least one solution. It turns out there are actually 2. And I'll show you that in just a second. But what we want to do to solve this is we want to try to use these two equations to combine to get one equation with only one variable. And we can do that by eliminating the x's. We can actually replace this x here with that x and that x here. And let's go ahead and do that. Okay, let me get my pencil back. So we're going to have, instead of x, we're going to have 6 plus 2y. 6 plus 2y. And we are going to multiply that by y. Now, I see somebody already answered this question, but she overlooked this little detail here. And that will be equal to 6 plus 2 times the quantity. Oh, hang on a second. Let me back up here real quick. I almost messed up. 2 times the quantity, and again, we're going to substitute 6x plus 2y here for x. 6 plus 2y plus y. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now we need to do a little simplifying. Okay, so we have y, over here we can use the distributive property of math the distributive property to show, to get rid of this parenthesis, and we have y times 6, which will give us 6y, plus y times 2y, which will give us 2y squared. And that will be equal to 6 plus 2 times the quantity, and we can just add these things out. That will give it, or we just combine like terms, and that will give us 6 plus 2y plus y is 3y. And a little more simplification. We can we could factor out a y here, but we don't want to right now, and you'll see why in just a second. We have 6y plus 2y squared is equal to 6. And then we want to use the distributive property to get rid of those parentheses. 2 times 6 is 12. That's supposed to be a 12. I think my computer doesn't like it when I move too fast. Plus 6y. And that's why I didn't want to factor that 6y out. Okay, so we have a 6y here, we have a 6y here, we can cancel them on out. And then we are left with, well, we don't want that. Then we are left with 2y squared is equal to 6 plus 12. That was bizarre. Oh, 2y squared is equal to 6 plus 12, which is 18. Okay, and that reduces to y squared is equal to 9. And then y is going to be equal to plus 3 or minus 3. So we actually have 2 cases here. Okay, so let's take a look at the case when y is equal to plus 3. If y is equal to plus 3, And we can use this equation right here, to figure out what x is. In this particular case, if y is equal to plus 3, x is going to be equal to 6 plus 2 times 3, which is equal to 12. So when y is equal to 3, x is equal to 12. All right, how about when y is equal to negative 3? When y is equal to negative 3, then we have x is equal to 6 plus 2 times negative 3, which is equal to 6 minus 6, which is equal to 0. So over here, we have x is equal to 0, and y is equal to negative 3. So there are actually two solutions. Now, does that make sense? Well, actually, it does. Let me produce for you this handy dandy little graph. I don't know if you can see it yet, but you'll see it in just a second. Actually, I think it's going to work that way. Okay, well, here is actually a graph of those two equations. Let me get out of everybody's way. All right, this right here is 6 plus 2y. It's a linear equation. And then this right here is xy equals 6 plus 2 times x plus y. Is actually, you can see it's hyperbola. And this point right here, x is equal to 12, y equals to 3, is that point right there. And this point right here is that point down there. So this is actually using a graphing calculator called Desmos. If you look at it, you can see that this solution does indeed make sense. So that's the approach. It turned out to be a nice little quadratic thing you had to look at. So once you realize that and realize that you have two cases, you just solve both cases and you get both answers. I hope this helps for you. If you need help with anything, please feel free to contact me through Wyzant. I'm sure you know how to get a hold of me, and I will look forward to working with you again. Thanks. Goodbye.